Good evening, darlings. So I got the following message from Tumblr user Ultrafangoddes, who says, King Throndrail, you know how hard it is fitting in? I know you've never had to deal with an Noldor father and a Sindar mother, but do you ever feel like your skin doesn't fit? Some days it feels too big, too small other days. Or you tuck your skin and it feels wrong. It feels like my soul and body are fighting, and oh dear, it's nearly 1 a.m. I'm sorry for bothering you. Darling, never feel sorry for sending me a message whatsoever. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get to it. I was sort of having some sort of personal things that I don't really want to discuss on this program. But there were reasons why I couldn't get to it right away. But I've bumped it up because I do want to talk about this, and I want to talk about it now. Because I feel like everyone has some moment like this, you know, where we sort of feel like we don't fit within ourselves. You know, some people feel it more than others, of course. And I feel like it often happens when we're sort of feeling low, or something very emotional has happened to us. And so I've also experienced this, although not as much. And of course, it's true, I don't know what it's like to have a Noldor father and a Sindar mother, but I can only imagine the sort of strife that must cause, because I know how my own father, being Sindar, felt about the Noldor, and it's not very pretty, darling. I understand how that could sort of add to a lot of things, and particularly being sort of a mix of those two heritages, I can only imagine that that must cause a lot of inner turmoil for you. And you know, I don't have sort of the experience firsthand to sort of be able to give you advice from my own experience, although I will say that being one of the few Sindar to grow up amongst the Sylvan, there were times where it sort of felt, as much as, you know, we sort of are one as a people, it still sometimes felt as though there was a distance there, you know, that that I sort of wasn't entirely a part of everything. And it's not true of every situation, and it's not something that I feel overarchingly. It's just that there were a few times here or there that I sort of felt that, particularly more as a child, I think, because I didn't sort of understand all the nuances and things like that. But as I've gotten older, I've sort of accepted some of the things, and of course, being a king, you do have a little more privilege than sort of others would have. But I don't really want to get into that, because it's not sort of what you're asking. You're asking about sort of how to deal with it, I'm assuming, that feeling that you sort of don't even fit within yourself. And I think it's important to find during those times the parts of you that do feel like yourself. You know, it's no secret that I have had a grievous injury in my past, and sometimes when I look upon the remnants of that, and of course, you know, darling, see, it's all healed up, but sometimes I still sort of can see that, not that I cover it with glamour, really, you know, it's very, very small, the mark that's there, but when I do take off the glamour, and sometimes, you know, you need to do that, it just doesn't seem like it's me that I'm looking at, and it can be quite emotionally, it's very difficult, I think, to sort of come to grips with the fact that that is in fact you that you're looking at. And this is very different, I'm assuming, from what you're going through. It's just the closest thing that I sort of have to share with you as far as this experience. And you know, I'm still trying to figure out how to sort of deal with that myself, even now. You know, it's been centuries and centuries, but that still sort of lingers. So I would say, I suppose, let me have some thinking juice. I suppose I would just say to not give up, and to remember that even though it may feel like you don't sort of belong, whether within yourself, that your soul is true to yourself, you know, no matter what is sort of going on with you physically or mentally, at your core, you still are who you are meant to be, and who you are. And so remember, there's always a part of you that's not going to change, that's always going to be there for you. And you know, again, I'm sorry I don't sort of have some very good advice for you. But if you do need to talk, darling, whether it's 1 a.m., whether it's 4 a.m., you know, you can always send me a message, and I'm happy to answer that. If you want, you can send me your email, and we can get in touch a little bit more so that you don't have to wait sort of several days for I'm assuming that's how long it's been now. Jeez. Since you sent your message, so we can sort of talk a little bit sooner. I think that would probably be better. So feel free to go ahead and send that, darling. And I'm so glad that you continue to talk with me. It's been so lovely to get to know you. So cheers. Ta-ta.